What's up, shy guys and shy gals? Today we have a 3-pack with 2 big updates. One about Fire Emblem Warriors, about some details and modes, and the second is an interview with Suda51 revealing some gameplay details for Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. And the third bit of news is a hidden gem that not many people have played is coming to the Nintendo Switch, so stay tuned for all that. Let's start off with Fire Emblem Warriors. Some Famitsu scans on Twitter have revealed some more details about the game. I'm not a huge Fire Emblem fan, so forgive me if I don't fully describe what these are in the perfect manner, but class changing is confirmed. You can use the Master Seal item to change, say, from Lord to Master Lord. Again, not really sure what that means, but I'm sure it has some significance. Also, there is a skill system where you can equip up to 3 skills to a character, and these skills are going to be unlocked by bonding with other characters. There's also some sort of emblem shop system where you can get different materials and they will grant you permanent stat boosts, but they need better scans to be 100% sure what exactly that emblem shop system is like. There's also a history mode, which is separate from the story mode, and it retells the origin story of each of the Fire Emblem games that are featured in Fire Emblem Warriors, and there is a special appearance by Valadar, who is a menace, but he's not a playable character. He's most likely just an NPC in this history mode only. And in this history mode, you will be moving characters around on a 2D grid, and then when you're adjacent to an enemy, a battle will trigger, and these, again, are recounting the origin stories of the different Fire Emblem games featured in Fire Emblem Warriors. There are also these cutscenes in these history modes are going to be fully voice acted, so that's just an extra little detail for you guys. So again, not 100% sure what all that means, but it sounds like this game is getting more and more breadth and depth in terms of how much detail and game material and playable content there is in Fire Emblem Warriors, so I know a lot of people are super psyched about that. We'll take a break from the updates on the known games, and we'll go to the hidden gem that is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Teslagrad is a game that has been out for about 4 years now, and it's been on virtually every platform around in those years, but it's coming to the Nintendo Switch, and it's a game that is highly reviewed and regarded amongst the people who've played it. It has around an 80 on Metacritic, and it's a 2D puzzle platformer adventure game where you're using a lot of like polarity and magnetism and electricity to kind of navigate through these puzzles and this adventure as you're uncovering the secrets behind the like this tower. So game looks really cool. I personally never played it, but it does look really good, and it's another game sort of like an indie title that can fill out your roster if you're hungry for some really good 2D platformer puzzle type games in between the major releases like Fire Emblem Warriors, Super Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade, things like that. Another great game to slot in as, you know, your 15-minute on-the-go pick-up-and-play type game. So Teslagrad, there's no date for it yet, but it is going to be a worldwide release coming to the Nintendo Switch soon. All right, and the third and final piece of information is a interview with Suda51. I will link the full transcript of the interview in the description down below so you can read through all of it if you would like, but I'm just going to give you the major pieces. Now, we know that Travis Strikes Again, Suda51 has talked about collaborating with other indie games, and I made a video about the Shovel Knight amiibo and talking about how Suda51 announced that Shovel Knight will be collaborated with and incorporated into Travis Strikes Again. They also talked about Hotline Miami being one of the collaborators, and in this interview he confirms that these indie games are not going to be affecting the gameplay of Travis Strikes Again. He also says that it wasn't to shine a spotlight on these indie games and kind of give them more attention. He was just doing this because he genuinely loves these certain indie games and he thinks they're superstars, and he wanted to incorporate them somehow into Travis Strikes Again. So the only thing that's been set in stone is that there are going to be t-shirts that Travis can wear that you can interchange out at any time, featuring these characters or scenes from these indie titles. So like you'll have a Shovel Knight shirt that you can put on Travis while you're playing through Travis Strikes Again. And he said right now they have about 15 collaborating games they've collaborated with so far, and he's still going around and finding more games that he really enjoys to collaborate with and get some more aesthetic things, not necessarily going to impact the gameplay, but just kind of have Travis really enjoy. He said that Suda51 loves these indie games, and he thinks that Travis would like these games, so Travis should wear the shirts of these games. So that's kind of where that collaboration is going to lead for Travis Strikes Again. He also talks a bit about the gameplay and says that the game is going to have the No More Heroes feel to it and the same kind of gameplay, but it's going to have games within the game. Now, we know that there's the Death Drive Mark II video game console, a haunted, possessed video game console, and there's 6 games that need to be completed and beaten in that Death Drive Mark II in order to get a wish granted, and Travis is trying to see if that's true and retrieve these games and then play them and beat them. So my kind of envisioning is that there's going to be No More Heroes classic gameplay where you're going out and trying to collect these. They're kind of the name that they're giving these games right now is called Tiger Balls instead of like a disc or a cartridge. Going out and collecting these Tiger Ball games and then coming back and playing them on the Death Drive Mark II and trying to beat them. And he says that each of the Death Drive games are going to, each of the 6 are going to have similar fundamental gameplay, but are going to have a different genre that they're kind of spotlighting or fitting into. So again, not really going to be, oh, like now you're playing a sports game or not, and now you're playing a match 3 or a tower defense or something like that. It's going to keep the same core mechanics, but just incorporate themes from different genres of gaming in each of those games. He also talks about the bosses, and they said that that's one of the things that No More Heroes is known for, is how unique each boss is and how it feels so interesting to fight each boss. And he says that there's going to be at least 6 very different bosses in the game, because there are those 6 different games on the Death Drive that you have to play through. Each one is going to have a boss, apparently, and possibly there will be more bosses. And he said that they are going to be very unique and cool because he is collaborating with a new artist friend, Boneface from the UK, who has some pretty crazy art style of his own. So he's going to be creating totally new bosses and villains that you're going to have to defeat in Travis Strikes Again. So that'll be exciting to see what kind of craziness they can develop for those boss fights. A few more little tidbits. He talks about the world of Fire Pro Wrestling maybe making an appearance in Travis Strikes Again, and maybe Travis enters into that. It could be one of the games that is played on the Death Drive Mark II. He talks a little bit about the lore behind the Death Drive Mark II and the Death Drive 128, so you can read about that. Again, I'll put the link in the description down below. And lastly, he just wants to encourage people who have not played No More Heroes 1 and 2 yet to go get a Wii and play it on the Wii, not the PlayStation, because it was meant to have those waggle controls, and to get them right away, because he says that the No More Heroes 1 and 2 prices have gone way up for used copies of those games since the announcement of Travis Strikes Again. So just to reiterate quickly, Travis Strikes Again will not have gameplay influences from the indie games that they are collaborating with. It'll most likely just stay purely aesthetic and different like t-shirts that you can wear and things like that. And the game is an action game, so that is going to be the general blanket gameplay of the entire experience. But there are 6 individual games that Travis has to beat throughout Travis Strikes Again, and each one of those will have a little bit of an influence of a different genre and will have its own very unique, distinct boss fight. So that is all the updates I have for you right now. Fire Emblem Warriors is getting some more details like skills and Valadar and the history mode. New game, Teslagrad, is a new game for Switch, but an old game in terms of when it was actually released, but it looks super good, and everybody's played it says it's awesome. And Travis Strikes Again, some gameplay details that I just went through. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this update video. Stay tuned to Switch Force for all the updates on the Nintendo Switch and future content coming to it. Thank you so much for watching. I think I just said that, but really thank you again. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time out to hear me listen, to tell you about new things happening with Nintendo in the world of the Switch. And until the next one, Switch Force out.